Welcome back, Lincoln currency. In the vast world of American coinage, there exists a tiny copper-plated piece of history that continues to fascinate collectors, historians, and curious treasure hunters alike. The 1986 1-cent coin, known popularly as the Lincoln penny. At first glance, it might seem like just another everyday coin, easily overlooked and tossed into a jar or left forgotten in a drawer. But beneath its modest surface lies a captivating story of design evolution, metallurgical change, economic significance, and in some rare cases, immense monetary worth, stretching all the way to jaw-dropping figures like $93 million for the rarest known specimen. To fully appreciate why this small coin commands such enormous attention, we have to dive deep into its background, composition, minting process, and the hidden factors that make a few of these 1986 pennies worth a fortune. The 1986 penny weighs approximately 2.5 grams, a significant change from the earlier copper-heavy pennies which weighed 3.11 grams before 1982. This reduction was due to the transition from a nearly pure copper composition to a copper-plated zinc core, a cost-saving measure implemented by the U.S. Mint as the price of copper soared. The modern 1986 cent is composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, with a thin outer layer of copper giving it that familiar reddish tone. Despite being visually similar to its predecessors, the difference in metal content makes this coin a testament to America's economic adaptability and industrial precision during the 1980s. The obverse of the 1986 cent features the enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln. Originally designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Over the decades, this design has become one of the most iconic in American coinage, symbolizing integrity, leadership, and equality. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust," arch gracefully above Lincoln's head, while "Liberty" sits to his left and the date, 1986, to his right. If a mint mark is present, either D for Denver or S for San Francisco, it appears just below the date, indicating where the coin was struck. The Philadelphia Mint, as was customary at the time, produced coins without a mint mark. Turning the coin over, the reverse design showcases the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 to replace the original wheat ears design used from 1909 to 1958. This reverse was the work of Frank Gasparo, who intended to honor Lincoln's legacy through an architectural masterpiece that could visually reflect the same dignity as Brenner's portrait. Within the miniature depiction of the Lincoln Memorial, if one looks closely, the statue of Abraham Lincoln is visible between the central columns, a subtle yet powerful detail that connects both sides of the coin. Above the memorial, the legend, "United States of America," reminds us of the coin's national identity, while below it, the denomination, 1 cent, confirms its face value. The phrase, "E pluribus unum," meaning, "out of many one," sits just above the memorial, encapsulating the unity of the nation the coin represents. While billions of 1986 pennies were minted across Philadelphia and Denver, the coin's most intriguing aspect lies in its variations and potential errors. These are what elevate some specimens from mere cents to multi-million-dollar treasures. Imagine a coin struck slightly off-center, or one accidentally made from the older copper alloy instead of the zinc core, or perhaps one with a double die error on the obverse that makes the inscriptions appear doubled. Such anomalies, often produced by chance and unnoticed by the mint, become the holy grail for numismatists. In the right condition, graded as MS 70 or Proof 70 by professional grading services, some of these era coins have fetched astronomical prices at auction, with collectors willing to pay millions for perfection, rarity, and historical resonance combined. The 1986 1-cent coin may be small, but its story continues to expand like a universe of discovery, full of unexpected twists, hidden rarities, and astonishing facts that most people never even imagine when holding it between their fingers. As we move deeper into its world, we begin to see that the 1986 penny is more than just metal. It is a living archive of America's industrial evolution, an emblem of changing economies, and a silent witness to the everyday lives of millions of people. Every single one of these coins tells a story, not just about the man whose face adorns it, Abraham Lincoln, but about the time in which it was born, a time of transformation, technological progress, and financial adjustment. In 1986, the U.S. Mint was running at full capacity, producing billions of coins to fuel the vast economy of the nation. The Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint were the two main facilities responsible for striking the regular circulation since that year, while the San Francisco Mint produced proof coins for collectors. Together, these facilities created an incredible number of 1-cent pieces, with the combined mintage exceeding 8.2 billion. Such a massive output might make one assume that all 1986 pennies are common, but among this sea of metal, a handful of anomalies emerged, flaws, experiments, and production errors that would one day become legends. One of the most fascinating mysteries surrounding the 1986 penny lies in the few examples that were struck on copper planchets rather than the zinc ones mandated after 1982. These copper-based coins are not supposed to exist. By that year, all circulating cents had switched to copper-plated zinc to save costs. However, minting machines occasionally retained leftover bronze planchets from earlier years. If such a planchet accidentally made its way into a 1986 coining press, the result would be an extremely rare and valuable penny. These are the coins that today can fetch prices reaching the unimaginable figure of $93 million for the single finest, best preserved example, a sum that reflects both rarity and the feverish competition among elite collectors to own what cannot be replicated. But why are these errors so valuable? The answer lies in human fascination with the unique. When billions of nearly identical coins exist, the one that differs, by accident or design, becomes extraordinary. It becomes an artifact that defies the system, a perfect blend of rarity and historical intrigue. For example, a 1986 penny struck on a copper planchet would weigh around 3.11 grams instead of the usual 2.5 grams, an easily noticeable difference for trained collectors who weigh their finds with digital precision. It might also exhibit a slightly different sound when dropped, a softer and warmer tone compared to the sharper ping of zinc. Even subtle differences like these can turn an overlooked coin into a priceless treasure. Minting errors are a world of wonder in themselves. The 1986 penny has been found with a variety of unusual defects: off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, missing letters, and plating errors. Each of these represents a tiny glimpse into the unpredictable nature of mass production. When millions of coins are struck every day, even the smallest shift in alignment, pressure, or temperature can create anomalies. Some collectors specialize in hunting for these errors, analyzing each penny under microscopes and magnifying lamps. They search for doubled lettering in Liberty, or a ghost-like shadow around Lincoln's eye, or faint die cracks that look like lightning bolts running across the surface. Each discovery tells a story of imperfection, and paradoxically, it is these imperfections that make the coins perfect in their own right. Among the more famous varieties from the 1980s are the so-called wide AM and close AM reverses, where the spacing between the letters in America differs slightly. While this particular variation is better known for the 1990s coins, some collectors have noted transitional examples appearing earlier, including in 1986. Another captivating variety involves the doubling of the date, or lettering due to a misalignment of the die during the striking process. A clear, strong doubled die can multiply a penny's value thousands of times over. The reason? Because such coins represent frozen moments of minting history, moments that cannot be repeated or replicated. Beyond its physical attributes, the 1986 penny holds immense symbolic power. Abraham Lincoln's image has been on the cent for more than a century, making it the longest-running coin design in U.S. history. The choice of Lincoln was not just about honoring a president, it was about celebrating ideals, freedom, equality, unity. The Lincoln penny has thus become more than currency. It's a moral emblem that circulates through time and generations. When you look at the 1986 penny, you're not just seeing a piece of metal, you're seeing a fragment of the American story, one that connects 1909 with the modern era and continues to represent the values Lincoln stood for. Even the reverse design, with the Lincoln Memorial, carries profound meaning. Introduced in 1959 on the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, It symbolized not only national pride but also artistic excellence. Frank Gasparo's design managed to compress architectural majesty into a space barely larger than a fingernail. The hidden statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, a detail so small that many people never notice it, is a masterstroke of miniature art. The idea that a coin so tiny could hold such intricate symbolism is part of what makes it beloved by collectors. And in 1986, with the precision of modern minting technology, these details were crisper and more defined than ever before. When we talk about a 1986 penny being worth $93 million, it's essential to understand that this isn't just about the coin itself, it's about what it represents to collectors. Rare coins are like historical time capsules. They are tangible links to the past, but they also serve as investments, status symbols, and objects of beauty. In high-end numismatics, value often stems from competition. When only one or two known examples exist, and when those examples are in immaculate condition, collectors will pay extraordinary sums to own them. A flawless 1986 penny with a dramatic mint error and full copper composition could command such astronomical figures simply because it is singular. Nothing else like it exists. But even ordinary 1986 pennies can hold value beyond 1 cent if they are in pristine condition. Coins graded as MS67 or MS68 by the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) or Numismatic Guarantee Company (NGC) can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The difference between an average circulated penny and a mint state gem is often invisible to the untrained eye, but collectors know that luster, surface preservation, and strike sharpness make all the difference. A coin that has never been touched by human hands, stored properly since the day it was minted, can shine with a brilliance that sets it apart from the billions of others. The world of coin grading itself has become an art form. Under powerful magnification, graders evaluate every tiny aspect of a coin's surface. They look for bag marks, die polish lines, strike strength, and color tone. Even a microscopic scratch can affect the grade, and thus the value, dramatically. In the case of 1986 pennies, finding one with absolutely flawless surfaces, perfect copper plating, and no signs of wear is exceedingly rare. These are the coins that stand a chance of breaking records. What fascinates collectors even more is the journey these coins take. Many 1986 pennies entered circulation immediately, exchanged in millions of transactions at gas stations, grocery stores, and schools. Others were sealed in mint sets or proof sets, preserved in protective plastic from the very start. Some were forgotten in attics, locked in safes, or passed down as keepsakes. The fact that a single penny could endure for nearly 4 decades and still look brand new is nothing short of miraculous. And in the right circumstances, that miracle can be worth tens of millions. Economically speaking, the story of the penny also mirrors America's evolving sense of value. Over the years, debates have arisen about whether to even continue producing the 1-cent coin, as its manufacturing cost now exceeds its face value. Yet, despite these debates, the penny endures, because it's not just a monetary unit, it's a cultural icon. People associate it with luck, nostalgia, and the small beginnings that lead to big achievements. The idiom, "a penny for your thoughts," reflects this sentiment. Even the smallest things can hold immense meaning. By 1986, the Lincoln cent had already been in continuous production for 77 years, and yet its design still carried the same emotional weight it had when first introduced in 1909. The portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse remained a constant reminder of integrity and sacrifice, while the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse stood as a monument to American unity. But for coin collectors and historians, the 1986 issue was far more than just another year. It marked a period when the penny's role in American life began to shift, both economically and symbolically. It became a bridge between the old era of coinage rooted in copper and the modern age of cost-saving and industrial precision. The 1986 penny embodies that transformation perfectly, a coin small in size, yet monumental in meaning. When we hold a 1986 penny, we are holding the product of a minting system that had reached incredible technological maturity. By this time, the U.S. Mint had perfected the art of high-speed, high-accuracy production. The process began with massive sheets of zinc rolled into uniform thicknesses, each one destined to become thousands of coins. These sheets were fed into blanking presses, which punched out millions of round metal discs known as planchets. Each planchet was then washed, polished, and plated with copper in an electrochemical bath that left a mirror-smooth layer just 8 microns thick, barely visible to the naked eye, yet crucial to giving the coin its reddish color and corrosion resistance. After this, they were annealed in high-temperature furnaces, tumbled to a perfect sheen, and finally sent to the striking presses where they would be transformed into coins. The striking process itself is a marvel of engineering. Each coin was struck under a pressure of around 60 tons, enough to permanently impress every fine detail of Lincoln's portrait and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The dies used for this purpose were engraved with atomic precision. Even the smallest deviation, just a fraction of a millimeter, could cause doubling or distortion. But despite the mint's rigorous controls, perfection is almost impossible to sustain when billions of coins are being produced. And it is in those rare imperfections where the true magic of numismatics lies. Some 1986 pennies display faint doubling on the letters, Liberty, or In God We Trust. Others show misaligned die strikes, slightly tilted or rotated designs, and even repunched mint marks where the letter D or S appears shadowed or doubled. These errors may look minor, but to a collector's trained eye, they represent uniqueness, tiny quirks that transform an ordinary coin into an artifact of curiosity. There are also examples of 1986 pennies that escaped the plating stage partially or completely, leaving raw zinc exposed. Such missing plating errors create unusual two-tone patterns, often silvery gray and copper red, which can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition. But among all these varieties, the most legendary is the 1986 bronze planchet penny, the rare survivor made from leftover pre-1982 copper alloy stock. To hold one of these coins is to hold a ghost of the past, a relic from an earlier age that accidentally slipped through time. Weighing 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5, it immediately stands out to an expert. The sound it makes when dropped on a hard surface is different, deeper and warmer, a tiny metallic whisper of history. Because only a handful of such coins are believed to exist, their market value can soar into the tens of millions. The $93 million figure that has been attached to the rarest known specimen reflects not just its rarity, but its symbolic status as the ultimate prize in modern American coin collecting. The coin market, like any other, is driven by passion, scarcity, and demand. When something truly rare appears, collectors will stop at nothing to own it. Some of the most famous auctions in numismatic history have involved pennies, tiny discs of metal that ignited bidding wars worth fortunes. It is said that one collector, upon seeing the perfect 1986 bronze planchet penny under magnification, described it as a miracle in copper. For him, it wasn't just about money, it was about owning a piece of history that exists nowhere else on earth. To understand the true power of such a coin, we have to look at what it represents beyond its metal content. The Lincoln penny carries emotional and cultural weight. It has passed through the hands of generations, students, soldiers, farmers, and presidents alike. It has witnessed recessions, wars, celebrations, and every phase of American life. A coin minted in 1986 might have been used to buy a newspaper the morning after a historic event, or it might have been dropped into a wishing fountain by someone making a silent prayer. It's not just currency, it's a silent witness to countless human stories. Even the decision to retain Lincoln's image year after year is meaningful. Many U.S. coins have changed designs over time, but the Lincoln cent has endured. The reason is simple: Lincoln is more than a president. He is a national ideal. His face on the smallest coin serves as a reminder that greatness is measured not by wealth, but by character and sacrifice. The 1986 penny, therefore, isn't just metal, it's philosophy in miniature. The economic environment of 1986 also adds context to the coin's story. The Reagan era was in full swing, characterized by market optimism, technological advancement, and the reshaping of American industry. Inflation had stabilized, the dollar was strong, and yet the U.S. Mint continued to optimize costs wherever possible. Using zinc instead of copper saved millions of dollars in production each year. The shift represented a new era of efficiency, one where even the smallest detail, like the composition of a 1-cent coin, reflected broader national priorities. Still, for collectors, the copper coins of the past held a certain romance. They had a rich, warm tone that the newer zinc pennies lacked. Their weight felt substantial, their ring was melodic, and their patina aged gracefully over time. When a 1986 penny accidentally carried that old copper composition, it became something special, not just for its rarity, but for the way it connected two distinct worlds of American coinage, the traditional and the modern. The allure of the penny also lies in its accessibility. Unlike gold coins or rare metals, anyone can find a penny. It doesn't require privilege or wealth to own one. Every person in America, at some point, has held a penny in their hand. This universality is what gives the coin its magic. The possibility that one of those ordinary pennies might secretly be worth millions turns the act of everyday life into a treasure hunt. Children check their change, hobbyists search through rolls from the bank, and treasure hunters use magnifying glasses and digital scales, all driven by the same dream: to find that one extraordinary coin hiding in plain sight. What's even more fascinating is how the digital age has amplified this obsession. Online forums, YouTube channels, and social media groups have turned coin collecting into a global community. Videos of rare penny discoveries often go viral, inspiring people around the world to search through their spare change. The 1986 penny, with its potential multimillion-dollar variants, has become one of the most discussed topics among collectors. Some have even documented their discoveries in real time, weighing and examining coins on camera, hoping to capture that moment of revelation when a common coin becomes a priceless artifact. One of the reasons coins like the 1986 penny reach such incredible valuations is grading. A coin's grade is the universal language of its condition, and the difference between a grade of MS-65 and MS-70 can be the difference between hundreds and millions of dollars. The grading process is rigorous. Each coin is examined under controlled lighting and the 1986 penny, while physically small, exists within a much larger narrative that blends American history, artistry, technology, and economics. Each aspect of its creation tells a story about the country's priorities, innovations, and cultural values. While billions of these coins circulated in everyday transactions, a select few managed to become extraordinarily rare, whether due to mint errors, unusual compositions, or sheer luck. Understanding these coins requires looking not just at their physical properties, but at the historical and industrial context in which they were produced. During the mid-1980s, the U.S. economy was thriving, but the cost of raw materials was high. Copper prices, in particular, had risen sharply, prompting the mint to find more economical alternatives for coin production. By 1986, pennies were primarily composed of a zinc core with a thin copper plating, a cost-effective solution that preserved the coin's appearance while reducing production expenses. Yet, even with billions of these coins being produced, the transition from copper to zinc left behind a small number of copper planchets. Some of these planchets accidentally entered the 1986 production line, creating extremely rare examples of copper-based pennies in a year dominated by zinc. These coins are the stuff of legend in the numismatic community. The rarity of these coins cannot be overstated. Imagine a single planchet from a previous year's production accidentally being struck with the 1986 dies, a coin that visually resembles its zinc counterparts, but is significantly heavier and composed entirely of copper. These coins are often so rare that only one or two confirmed examples may exist. Their value is astronomical because they are irreplaceable, impossible to recreate, and serve as tangible connections between two distinct eras of U.S. coinage. The $93 million valuation attributed to the finest known specimen is not merely speculation, it represents the ultimate convergence of rarity, perfection, and collector demand. Beyond material composition, the 1986 penny also demonstrates the evolution of minting technology. By the mid-1980s, the mint had perfected high-speed coining presses capable of striking hundreds of coins per minute with extraordinary precision. Dies were created using advanced engraving techniques that ensured sharp detail in Lincoln's portrait and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Despite this precision, minting millions of coins inevitably produced anomalies, small errors that are now considered highly collectible. Examples include off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, and planchet flaws. Each imperfection tells a story of industrial processes pushing the limits of accuracy and human oversight. Collectors place immense value not just on rarity, but also on condition. The grading of a coin is a meticulous process, measuring every detail from strike quality to surface preservation. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with MS 70 or Proof 70 representing perfect, flawless specimens. Even minor imperfections, a microscopic scratch, a tiny ding on the rim, or slight discoloration, can drastically reduce a coin's market value. For the 1986 penny, a flawless example with rare composition or striking errors can exponentially increase in value, transforming an everyday coin into a multimillion-dollar treasure. The symbolism of the coin is also significant. Abraham Lincoln, immortalized on the obverse, represents integrity, freedom, and leadership. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse reinforces national pride and unity. The combination of historical reverence and artistic detail makes each coin a miniature work of cultural heritage. In 1986, these coins were not only circulating currency but also a continuation of a design tradition that had lasted nearly 8 decades. Each coin, whether ordinary or rare, carries the legacy of American ideals embedded in its metal point. One of the most compelling aspects of the 1986 penny is the concept of hidden treasure. The idea that a coin worth millions could be hiding in a jar of change, in a forgotten wallet, or under the couch cushions is a powerful lure for collectors. Entire communities of numismatists dedicate themselves to searching through rolls of coins, examining each piece under magnification, weighing it for anomalies, and comparing it to known error types. Even ordinary pennies from 1986 can become significant if they are exceptionally well preserved or exhibit unusual characteristics. Error coins, in particular, are fascinating because they represent moments of accidental imperfection captured in metal. For instance, a double die occurs when the coin is struck twice due to a misaligned die, creating duplicated letters or numbers. Off-center strikes occur when a planchet is not perfectly aligned under the die, producing coins where part of the design is missing. Missing or incomplete plating on a zinc-based coin reveals the underlying metal, creating unusual coloration and patterns. Each error type has its own rarity, with some errors being common and others so rare that only 1 or 2 known examples exist worldwide. The market for rare coins, including the 1986 penny, is influenced by both scarcity and human fascination with the unique. When a rare coin appears at auction, collectors often bid passionately, recognizing that the opportunity may never come again. This competitive demand is part of why certain 1986 pennies achieve extraordinary valuations. Beyond monetary value, the historical and aesthetic significance of these coins plays a major role in their desirability. A rare penny is not just currency, it is a piece of history, art, and culture, all in one small object. Technological advances have also changed the way collectors approach coins. High-resolution photography, digital scales, and online databases allow for precise evaluation and verification of coins' authenticity and condition. Coins that would have been overlooked decades ago can now be identified as rare varieties, increasing interest and market value. For the 1986 penny, this means that collectors worldwide can track variations, compare findings, and authenticate potential errors with unprecedented accuracy. The Lincoln penny, especially from 1986, also serves as an educational tool. Its design encourages study of American history, presidential legacy, and numismatic science. Children learning about coins can explore metallurgy, minting technology, and historical context all at once. Adults can analyze mint errors, track market trends, and understand the economic decisions behind material changes. The penny, while small, opens a window to a complex and fascinating world of knowledge. Beyond the numismatic community, the Lincoln penny occupies a cultural space in the broader public imagination. Phrases like, "A penny saved is a penny earned," and the idea of throwing a penny into a wishing well reflect the coin's symbolic value. Even in a world of electronic payments and digital currency, the penny remains tangible, connecting people to a tactile experience that cannot be replicated by virtual money. The 1986 penny, therefore, bridges the gap between traditional currency and modern collecting culture. Collectors also pay attention to the visual appeal of a coin. The 1986 penny features crisp, well-defined details thanks to improvements in die preparation and striking pressure. Lincoln's facial features, the folds of his coat, the lettering on the obverse, and the fine lines of the Lincoln Memorial are all sharply rendered. These details are crucial for both grading and aesthetic appreciation. Coins with sharper strikes and clearer details are more valuable, especially when combined with other factors like rare errors or exceptional condition. Another factor contributing to the 1986 penny's allure is its tonal quality. Copper develops a patina over time, ranging from bright red to deep brown, with intermediate red-brown shades. Coins with original, full red coloration are highly prized because they indicate minimal oxidation and excellent preservation. The combination of color, luster, strike quality, and rarity determines the overall desirability of the coin among collectors. The 1986 Lincoln cent is particularly fascinating when we examine the human and historical stories behind its circulation. Although billions were produced, each coin began its journey as a blank zinc planchet, polished and coated with a thin layer of copper, and then pressed under tons of pressure to imprint Lincoln's dignified visage on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. After leaving the mint, these coins entered the hands of millions of Americans, passing through countless transactions over decades, changing hands at grocery stores, laundromats, gas stations, and vending machines. Each coin bore witness to the daily life of ordinary citizens while silently maintaining its role as both a unit of currency and a symbol of national heritage. While most 1986 pennies circulated normally, others were quickly set aside by collectors who recognized their potential importance. Coin collecting, or numismatics, has long been a passionate pursuit, and the 1986 cent captured the interest of both seasoned collectors and newcomers. People understood that even coins that appeared ordinary could become extraordinarily valuable if they contained unique characteristics. Minor die imperfections, slight misalignments, or accidental use of leftover copper planchets created variations that could distinguish one penny from billions of others. These anomalies transformed an everyday coin into a piece of history. The accidental copper planchet pennies of 1986 are particularly legendary in the numismatic world. These coins, weighing around 3.11 grams rather than the standard 2.5 grams for the zinc-based cents, are nearly impossible to find. Only a handful are believed to exist, and those that have surfaced are typically in exceptional condition. The rarity and allure of these coins contribute to the astronomical valuations they can achieve, including the extraordinary $93 million figure cited for the finest known specimen. For collectors, such a coin is not just a monetary investment, it is a once-in-a-lifetime connection to a tangible piece of history. Error coins from 1986 also provide insight into the minting process. Die errors, including double dies, misaligned strikes, or die cracks, represent the inherent challenges of producing billions of coins with absolute precision. Off-center strikes, for instance, occur when the planchet is not properly aligned under the striking die, resulting in a coin with part of its design missing. Such coins are highly sought after because they are unique anomalies. Even subtle doubling of the date or lettering, barely visible to the untrained eye, can dramatically increase a coin's value, demonstrating the significance of small deviations in minting. The process of grading coins further amplifies their value. The condition of a coin is determined through careful examination under magnification, assessing factors such as strike sharpness, surface preservation, and luster. Coins in mint-state condition, especially those graded as MS65, MS67, or MS70, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on rarity. For the 1986 penny, a flawless example with a rare composition or striking anomaly is considered the ultimate collector's prize, capable of commanding mind-boggling prices at auction. The cultural significance of the Lincoln cent cannot be overstated. Lincoln's image has appeared on the penny since 1909, making it the longest-running coin design in American history. The decision to honor Lincoln reflects both his historical impact and the enduring values he represents: integrity, leadership, and unity. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side reinforces this symbolism, representing national pride and the importance of historical remembrance. By 1986, these designs had become deeply ingrained in American culture, serving as a familiar and meaningful symbol for generations. The 1986 penny also exemplifies the intersection of art and technology. The coin's intricate details, from Lincoln's facial features to the finely etched columns of the Lincoln Memorial, required precise engraving and high-pressure striking. The U.S. Mint's advanced machinery in the 1980s allowed for sharper, more detailed designs than ever before, producing coins with consistent quality across billions of pieces. Yet even with modern precision, anomalies occasionally occurred, creating rare error coins that now attract immense collector interest. Economic context plays an important role in understanding the 1986 penny's significance. Rising copper prices in the early 1980s prompted the mint to switch from solid copper to a copper-plated zinc composition. This change not only reduced production costs, but also allowed the mint to continue producing coins efficiently for circulation. However, this transition inadvertently created the opportunity for copper planchet errors, which are now among the most valuable 1986 pennies. The coin therefore represents both technological progress and economic adaptation, linking practical decision-making with historical consequence. The story of the 1986 penny also highlights human curiosity and the thrill of discovery. Searching for rare coins has captivated hobbyists for generations. The possibility of finding a $93 million penny among ordinary change fuels imagination and inspires collectors to examine every coin carefully. This pursuit blends skill, patience, and knowledge of minting processes with an element of luck. Discovering a rare 1986 penny is not only financially rewarding but also emotionally exhilarating, connecting the collector to the coin's rich history. Condition and visual appeal are key determinants of a coin's value. The 1986 penny exhibits a range of coloration from bright red to deep brown, depending on the preservation of its copper plating. Collectors prize coins with full original red coloration because it indicates minimal oxidation and excellent preservation. Coins with vivid, unaltered luster are especially desirable. In combination with rare errors or unusual compositions, these factors can elevate a coin's worth exponentially, transforming an everyday 1-cent piece into an object of extraordinary value. Collectors also pay close attention to the coin's fine details. The clarity of Lincoln's facial features, the sharpness of the lettering, the alignment of the dies, and the overall strike quality all influence a coin's desirability. Even small differences can distinguish one coin from another. For example, a coin struck with slightly sharper detail in the date or letters may command a premium over a similar coin with a softer strike. Similarly, die cracks or repunched mint marks can turn a relatively ordinary coin into a sought-after collectible. Beyond individual coins, the 1986 penny represents a broader narrative of American industrial and cultural history. Its production reflects the economic considerations, technological advancements, and aesthetic standards of the era. The transition from copper to zinc embodies both practical adaptation and unintended rarity, highlighting how small changes in production can have long-term implications for collectors and historians alike. Even ordinary 1986 pennies hold value as historical artifacts. They document daily life, economic conditions, and cultural priorities of mid-1980s America. A single coin can represent countless transactions, from buying a cup of coffee to making a charitable donation. Each coin has a story, both tangible and intangible, connecting it to the people who used it and the society it served. Error coins and rare compositions further enhance the educational and historical significance of the 1986 penny. They provide tangible evidence of production processes, industrial experimentation, and the occasional imperfection that occurs when mass-producing billions of coins. Studying these coins helps numismatists understand minting technology, historical decisions, and the economic context of their creation. In addition to historical and economic importance, the story of the 1986 penny is as much about the people who interacted with it as it is about the coin itself. Each penny minted in that year has experienced a unique journey, traveling through the hands of countless individuals across the United States. Some were spent immediately on everyday purchases, changing hands dozens of times over the years, while others were carefully saved by collectors who recognized their potential value. The dichotomy between the ordinary circulation coin and the extraordinary collector's item highlights a fascinating aspect of numismatics. Context transforms value. A coin sitting in a wallet may be common, but the same coin, preserved and unaltered in pristine condition or displaying a rare mint error, can become a treasure worth millions. Among the most captivating aspects of the 1986 penny are the error coins. Error coins occur naturally in the minting process due to the immense volume and complexity of production. Slight misalignments of dies, uneven striking pressures, or accidental use of incorrect planchets result in unique variations. The most famous of these from 1986 are the copper planchet pennies. While the vast majority of 1986 cents were composed of a zinc core with a copper coating, a very small number of leftover copper planchets from previous years were accidentally struck. These coins, heavier and richer in color than standard 1986 pennies, are exceptionally rare and highly sought after by collectors. They are tangible connections to the transition period in U.S. minting, a physical link between two distinct eras of coin production. The value of such rare 1986 pennies is amplified by both scarcity and demand. Only a handful of these error coins are believed to exist, making them nearly priceless in the numismatic market. The cited $93 million valuation for the rarest specimen represents the confluence of perfect preservation, rarity, and collector desire. Beyond monetary value, these coins carry historical and symbolic significance. They represent the intersection of human ingenuity, industrial technology, and chance, a perfect storm that transforms an ordinary object into an extraordinary artifact. Die errors, another fascinating category of rarity, occur when the engraved die used to strike the coin is misaligned, damaged, or imperfectly prepared. Examples include doubled dies, where letters or numbers appear duplicated due to the die shifting slightly between strikes, and off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing from the coin. Some 1986 pennies display subtle doubling in the inscriptions, Liberty, or In God We Trust, while others reveal tiny die cracks forming intricate patterns on the surface. These anomalies, often unnoticed during circulation, are now prized collectibles because they are irreplicable and visually unique. The appeal of error coins extends beyond their rarity. They offer insight into the minting process itself. Observing a misstrike or a double die allows collectors to understand the challenges of producing millions of coins with precision. Even with advanced machinery in the 1980s, human oversight, mechanical imperfections, and the sheer speed of production created opportunities for unusual variations. For numismatists, these imperfections are a source of fascination, a reminder that even in highly controlled industrial environments, chance and error still play a role. Condition plays an equally critical role in determining the value of 1986 pennies. Coins are meticulously graded using a standardized scale, with mint state grades ranging from MS-60 to MS-70. Factors considered include strike quality, surface preservation, luster, and the absence of imperfections. A perfect MS-70 coin exhibits no visible flaws even under high magnification, a rarity given the massive numbers of coins produced. A flawless 1986 penny, especially one with an error or rare composition, becomes a masterpiece of both historical significance and visual appeal. The 1986 penny is also a study in metallurgy. The shift from solid copper to a copper-plated zinc core was driven by economic necessity. Rising copper prices in the early 1980s made it impractical to continue producing pennies from pure copper. Zinc, being more abundant and cost-effective, allowed the mint to produce coins efficiently while maintaining the familiar reddish appearance through a thin copper coating. This transition inadvertently created the conditions for rare copper planchet errors, demonstrating how industrial decisions can unexpectedly generate extraordinary collectibles. Beyond composition and errors, the artistry of the 1986 penny contributes to its enduring appeal. Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, originally designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, remains one of the most iconic images in American numismatics. The detailed engraving captures Lincoln's facial features, hair, and expression with remarkable realism. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, is equally intricate, with fine lines representing the architectural columns and the hidden statue of Lincoln within the memorial. In 1986, technological advancements in die preparation and striking pressure allowed for sharper, more precise details than in previous decades. Collectors often study these design elements closely, evaluating everything from the alignment of letters to the depth of the engraving. Even subtle variations can create valuable distinctions. For instance, the spacing of letters in America, or the shape of the numeral 6 in the date can differentiate one die variety from another. Understanding these nuances requires not only careful observation but also knowledge of minting history, making coin collecting both an analytical and educational pursuit. The 1986 penny also serves as a tangible link to everyday American life during the 1980s. It circulated during a period of economic optimism, technological innovation, and cultural change. While most coins were used for routine transactions, purchasing a newspaper, a cup of coffee, or a pack of gum, some were carefully preserved by collectors. The survival of high-grade specimens, particularly uncirculated or proof coins, illustrates how human behavior intersects with historical events to create long-term value. Even the sound of a 1986 penny is distinctive. Copper and zinc produce slightly different tones when dropped on a hard surface. This small auditory difference can help experienced collectors identify coins with unusual compositions, such as the rare copper planchet examples. Such subtle characteristics add another layer to the study and appreciation of these coins, highlighting the sensory experience of numismatics beyond visual inspection alone. The market for 1986 pennies reflects both scarcity and fascination with history. Rare coins, particularly those with errors or unusual compositions, are highly sought after. Auctions and private sales often generate intense competition, with collectors willing to pay extraordinary sums for the opportunity to own a unique piece of history. The $93 million valuation represents the pinnacle of such desirability, a perfect combination of rarity, condition, and historical significance. Beyond monetary value, the 1986 penny also holds cultural and educational significance. It introduces people to the history of coinage, the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, and the intricacies of industrial minting processes. Children and adults alike can learn about metallurgy, historical events, and the evolution of design by studying these coins. Numismatic societies and online communities provide resources for research, authentication, and preservation, ensuring that the knowledge and appreciation of these coins continue to grow. The visual appeal of the 1986 penny cannot be overstated. Faux red coins, showing their original copper luster, are particularly prized. Variations in toning can create beautiful effects, ranging from subtle red-brown hues to vivid iridescent patterns. The combination of sharp detail, brilliant luster, and rarity elevates certain specimens into the realm of art, making them objects of admiration as well as financial investment. Collectors also consider the coin's provenance. Knowing the history of a particular 1986 penny, whether it came from a mint set, an uncirculated roll, or a private collection, can enhance its value. Coins with documented provenance often command higher prices, as buyers have confidence in their authenticity and condition. The 1986 Lincoln cent, while often taken for granted in everyday transactions, embodies layers of historical, cultural, and economic significance that make it far more than simple currency. While billions of these pennies entered circulation, each coin carries the imprint of human craftsmanship, industrial precision, and cultural symbolism. In numismatic terms, the 1986 penny represents a delicate balance between mass production and individual uniqueness, especially when factoring in rare anomalies like copper planchet errors or subtle die varieties. The story of this coin is thus a tale of contrasts: ordinary yet extraordinary, small yet monumental, common yet occasionally priceless. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1986 penny is the transition in its metallic composition. By 1982, the U.S. Mint had largely shifted to a zinc core with a thin copper plating, a decision driven by economic necessity as the cost of copper soared. Yet in 1986, the possibility existed for leftover copper planchets from earlier years to inadvertently be struck. These rare coins, heavier than standard zinc-based cents and exhibiting a rich reddish hue, represent a physical bridge between two eras of coinage. They are tangible reminders that even industrial systems designed for consistency are subject to human oversight and chance. Collectors prize these copper planchet pennies for both their rarity and their story. The $93 million valuation attributed to the finest known example is not merely about scarcity. It reflects the coin's flawless condition, historical context, and the intense global demand among elite collectors. Such a coin is not just a monetary asset but a piece of living history, a physical artifact that cannot be replicated. It embodies the intersection of art, industry, and accident, showing that even small mistakes can have monumental consequences in the world of numismatics. Die errors also contribute significantly to the 1986 penny's allure. These include double dies, where letters or numbers appear duplicated due to a shift in the die between strikes, and off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing. There are also die cracks and repunched mint marks that create visually striking patterns on the coin's surface. While some errors are relatively common and have modest value, others are exceedingly rare and can multiply the worth of a penny by thousands of times. The thrill of discovering or owning such anomalies lies not just in financial gain, but in the connection to the minting process itself, offering a glimpse into the delicate and intricate operations of the U.S. Mint. Condition remains one of the most critical determinants of value. Coins are meticulously graded by organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, with grades ranging from MS-60 to MS-70 for uncirculated coins. Factors considered include strike sharpness, surface preservation, luster, and the absence of marks or imperfections. For 1986 pennies, even minor flaws can dramatically reduce market value, while a perfect coin in MS-70 condition, especially one with a rare composition or striking anomaly, can become the centerpiece of a collection and potentially reach astronomical auction prices. The artistry of the 1986 penny is another source of fascination. Lincoln's portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner, has remained largely unchanged since 1909. Its detailed rendering captures Lincoln's facial features with remarkable realism, while the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, features fine architectural details that include the tiny statue of Lincoln within. By 1986, advances in die engraving and coining technology allowed for sharper and more consistent strikes, making each coin visually precise. Even subtle differences in die usage, strike strength, or alignment can create collectible varieties that attract significant attention from specialists. The 1986 penny also reflects broader economic and cultural narratives. Rising copper prices led to the adoption of zinc cores, but the coin remained a symbol of daily commerce, luck, and historical continuity. It circulated in a period marked by technological growth, cultural optimism, and economic expansion, serving both practical and symbolic roles. From the hands of children collecting pennies and jars to adults making small purchases, the coin participated in the fabric of everyday American life. The tactile and auditory characteristics of pennies are also notable. Copper and zinc produce slightly different tones when dropped, a detail that helps experts identify unusual compositions. Copper-based planchets produce a deeper, warmer ring compared to the sharper sound of zinc coins. These sensory cues are just one of many tools that collectors use to identify rare or unique specimens. Even the subtle nuances of toning play a role in the coin's appeal. Over time, copper develops a patina that can range from bright red to deep brown, with red-brown intermediate states. Coins that retain their original red color are highly desirable, reflecting minimal oxidation and careful preservation. Toning can also create visually striking patterns, with iridescent blues, purples, and golds appearing in some cases. The aesthetic beauty of these variations adds a layer of artistry to the coin, reinforcing its dual identity as both currency and collectible object. Historical context further enhances the significance of the 1986 penny. Abraham Lincoln, featured on the obverse, represents integrity, leadership, and national unity. The Lincoln Memorial, on the reverse, reinforces these ideals. The continued use of this design for decades reflects a desire to maintain continuity with American history while providing a platform for artistic expression. By studying the coin, collectors gain insights not only into minting technology but also into the values and priorities of the nation during the mid-1980s. Era coins, rare compositions, and high-grade specimens contribute to a dynamic and competitive marketplace. Auctions, private sales, and specialized numismatic societies create a global ecosystem where collectors can trade, authenticate, and study these coins. The extreme rarity of certain 1986 pennies, particularly copper planchets, ensures that these coins remain at the pinnacle of collecting, driving intense interest and record-setting valuations. The educational aspect of the 1986 penny cannot be overlooked. Studying these coins provides lessons in metallurgy, minting technology, history, and economics. Children learning about coins can explore these subjects through tangible objects, while adults can engage in detailed analysis and research. Coin collecting encourages observation, critical thinking, and historical curiosity, turning a simple 1-cent piece into a multifaceted learning tool. The appeal of the 1986 penny also lies in its accessibility. Unlike rare gold coins or high-denomination collectibles, pennies are ubiquitous. Anyone can potentially find a coin of extraordinary value, which democratizes the pursuit of numismatics. The idea that a coin found in a jar, drawer, or pocket could be worth millions captures the imagination, bridging everyday experience with historical discovery and financial excitement. Technological advancements have further amplified interest in rare 1986 pennies. Digital photography, online databases, and precision scales allow collectors to document, verify, and share their findings globally. Coins that might have been overlooked decades ago are now readily identified and authenticated, making the pursuit of rare coins a dynamic and evolving endeavor. The 1986 Lincoln penny represents more than a unit of currency. It is a window into the history, culture, and industrial processes of its time. While many coins were destined for ordinary transactions, a select few achieved legendary status due to rarity, errors, or exceptional preservation. Collectors around the world seek these pennies not merely for their monetary value, but for the stories and historical significance they carry. The coin, in this sense, serves as both an artifact and a testament to human curiosity, industrial ingenuity, and artistic precision. One of the most remarkable features of the 1986 penny is its material composition. By this time, most pennies were produced using a zinc core with a thin copper plating, a shift prompted by the rising cost of copper in the early 1980s. This cost-saving measure allowed the U.S. Mint to produce billions of coins efficiently, while maintaining the familiar copper appearance that had become synonymous with the Lincoln cent. Yet within this standardized process, rare anomalies occasionally occurred. Leftover copper planchets from earlier years, accidentally struck with 1986 dies, produced pennies that are both heavier and visually distinct. These coins, due to their scarcity, have become the stuff of legend in numismatic circles, commanding extraordinary prices and capturing the imagination of collectors worldwide. Error coins form another critical part of the 1986 penny narrative. Errors occur when production anomalies affect the coin during the striking process. Some of the most sought after include double dies, where lettering or numerals appear duplicated, off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing, die cracks, which create unique patterns on the surface, and repunched mint marks, where the mint mark appears shadowed or doubled. While some errors are relatively common, others are exceedingly rare, creating an exciting hunt for collectors. The subtlety and uniqueness of these variations turn what might otherwise be a mundane coin into a one-of-a-kind collectible. The grading and condition of a coin are crucial in determining its market value. Coins are evaluated using a standardized scale, with uncirculated coins graded from MS-60 to MS-70. Factors such as strike sharpness, surface preservation, luster, and the absence of marks influence grading. For the 1986 penny, even minor imperfections, such as a tiny scratch or a slight discoloration, can significantly reduce its value. Conversely, a flawless coin in MS-70 condition, particularly one with a rare error or unusual composition, becomes a coveted centerpiece of any collection and can achieve record-setting prices at auction. The artistry of the 1986 penny is another key element of its lasting appeal. Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, created by Victor David Brenner in 1909, remains one of the most iconic and recognizable images in American coinage. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, showcases fine architectural details, including the tiny statue of Lincoln within the memorial. By 1986, advancements in die engraving and high-pressure coining technology allowed for sharper details and more consistent strikes. This precision ensures that even coins produced in mass quantities can exhibit high-quality artistry, further enhancing their collectability. The economic context of the 1986 penny adds an additional layer of interest. The shift to a zinc core with copper plating reflected a broader economic imperative, controlling production costs while maintaining a coin's appearance and functionality. Rising copper prices had made solid copper coins economically impractical, prompting the mint to innovate with zinc. This shift inadvertently created conditions for rare copper planchet errors, demonstrating how economic decisions can have unintended consequences, producing objects of immense historical and financial value. Collectors are drawn not only to these physical characteristics but also to the stories each coin tells. Every 1986 penny, whether circulated or preserved, has passed through numerous hands and participated in countless everyday transactions. Some coins were spent on small purchases, while others were collected and preserved, eventually becoming part of private collections or auctions. The journey of each coin, from the minting press to the collector's hands, imbues it with historical significance and human connection. Sensory elements also contribute to the fascination with these coins. The weight and sound of a penny can reveal subtle differences in composition. Copper-based planchets, for example, are heavier and produce a warmer, deeper ring when dropped, compared to standard zinc-based coins. Even these minor differences can serve as tools for identifying rare or unusual specimens, demonstrating the depth of engagement collectors have with their coins. Visual appeal remains a central aspect of the 1986 penny's value. Full red coins, retaining their original copper luster, are highly prized for their brilliance and minimal oxidation. Red-brown and brown coins, which have experienced more oxidation or circulation, are generally less valuable, though they still hold historical significance. Toning can create unique, eye-catching patterns, adding aesthetic value to a coin and often enhancing its appeal among collectors. The provenance of a coin can also significantly influence its value. Coins with documented histories, whether from mint sets, uncirculated rolls, or well-known collections, are more likely to command premium prices. Provenance provides assurance of authenticity, condition, and rarity, factors that are particularly important when dealing with high-value specimens, such as rare 1986 copper planchets or exceptional era coins. The 1986 penny is not only a piece of currency but also a symbol of continuity and cultural identity. Abraham Lincoln, honored on the obverse, represents integrity, leadership, and unity, while the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse reinforces these ideals. The design's longevity reflects a national desire to preserve historical continuity and celebrate American values. Each coin serves as a miniature monument, a reminder of the enduring impact of both Lincoln's legacy and the nation's commitment to honoring its history. Education and public engagement also play a role in the 1986 penny's significance. Coins provide tangible lessons in history, metallurgy, and minting technology. Children learning about American currency can explore these concepts through direct interaction, while adults can study variations, errors, and grading to deepen their understanding of numismatics. Coin collecting encourages observation, research, and critical thinking, turning a simple penny into a multifaceted educational tool. Global interest in 1986 pennies ensures that their relevance continues decades after minting. Specialized auctions, grading services, and numismatic societies provide platforms for collectors to trade, authenticate, and study these coins. Rare specimens, particularly copper planchets or high-grade era coins, attract international attention, highlighting the coin's status as a globally recognized collectible. The 1986 penny also demonstrates the enduring human fascination with rarity and the potential for discovery. The idea that an everyday object, small, ubiquitous, and seemingly ordinary, could be worth millions captures the imagination. This excitement drives collectors to examine coins meticulously, compare them to known varieties, and pursue knowledge about minting processes and historical context. The thrill of finding a rare coin transforms the simple act of collecting into a pursuit of adventure and discovery. The 1986 Lincoln penny, while seemingly small and mundane, possesses a level of fascination and engagement that far exceeds its nominal value. Its significance is magnified by rarity, historical context, and the human stories attached to it. The act of collecting these coins is not merely transactional, it is an exploration of history, industry, artistry, and luck. Every collector who studies the 1986 penny is engaging in a conversation across time, linking themselves to the mint workers, designers, and everyday Americans who have handled the coin over decades. Engagement with the 1986 penny begins with observation. Even the most casual collector quickly learns to notice subtle differences in weight, color, and detail. The rare copper planchet penny stands out immediately when weighed, as its 3.11 gram mass is heavier than the standard zinc-based 2.5 grams. Its rich reddish hue is deeper than the typical copper-plated zinc penny, signaling both its rarity and historical significance. Collectors often describe the moment of discovering such a coin as electrifying, a tangible connection to the past that is both rare and irreplaceable. Errors and anomalies add another layer of engagement. Die doubling, off-center strikes, and missing or incomplete plating present a puzzle for collectors to solve. Identifying these imperfections requires knowledge, patience, and a keen eye. Each discovery provides not only satisfaction but also the potential for substantial financial reward. In the numismatic community, spotting a rare error is akin to uncovering a hidden treasure, blending excitement with expertise. The act of collecting also fosters a sense of community. Enthusiasts discuss their findings in online forums, at coin shows, and in numismatic societies. They share images, compare notes on grading, and debate the value of specific variations. The 1986 penny, particularly rare examples like the copper planchet or high-grade uncirculated coins, often becomes the centerpiece of these discussions. Its story, both of everyday circulation and extraordinary rarity, serves as a common thread connecting collectors across generations and geographies. Educational engagement is another key aspect. Collectors and hobbyists often research the historical context of the penny, exploring why the mint shifted from copper to zinc, the challenges of mass coin production, and the evolution of design elements. Children studying these coins can learn about metallurgy, industrial processes, and historical figures, while adults might analyze market trends, grading standards, or the impact of die errors. The 1986 penny thus functions as a multidimensional tool, offering lessons in history, economics, art, and science simultaneously. The tactile and sensory experiences of handling coins further enhance engagement. Feeling the weight, texture, and edge of a penny provides a physical connection that cannot be replicated digitally. The sound of copper or zinc hitting a hard surface can indicate composition differences, while visual inspection reveals details in design and anomalies. These sensory interactions make the study of coins immersive, allowing collectors to develop skills that combine observation, measurement, and intuition. Market engagement adds another layer of complexity and excitement. Rare 1986 pennies, particularly those with unusual compositions or minting errors, can command extraordinary sums at auction. The global collector community actively monitors these coins, bidding competitively to acquire the most desirable specimens. This dynamic creates a sense of urgency and anticipation, as collectors know that the opportunity to own a rare penny may not arise again. Each auction, sale, or trade represents both a financial decision and an emotional investment, highlighting the deep connection between humans and these small objects of metal. Engagement also arises from the narrative and symbolism of the penny. Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse evoke ideals of leadership, integrity, and national unity. For collectors, owning a 1986 penny, particularly one of exceptional rarity, is not only about financial or aesthetic value but also about participating in a cultural and historical legacy. Each coin serves as a tangible reminder of these enduring values, linking the collector to a broader narrative of American history. In addition to its historical and artistic significance, the 1986 penny offers the excitement of discovery. The thrill of finding a rare error or unusually preserved specimen among ordinary circulation coins is a compelling motivation. Collectors describe the experience as akin to a treasure hunt, sorting through rolls, examining coins with magnification, and comparing them to reference materials in search of that one extraordinary find. This element of chance, combined with knowledge and skill, creates a uniquely engaging experience. The educational, aesthetic, and historical dimensions of the 1986 penny converge to make it a compelling object of study. Every detail, from the sharpness of Lincoln's profile to the faint doubling of letters or the subtle tonal shifts in the copper, offers insight into the production process, the material composition, and the historical context of its creation. For serious collectors, understanding these nuances is both a mental challenge and a source of immense satisfaction. Finally, engagement is reinforced by the potential for legacy. Rare 1986 pennies, especially those in exceptional condition or with unusual compositions, are often preserved in protective holders, documented in auction catalogs, and sometimes passed down through generations. They become more than collectibles. They become historical artifacts, investment vehicles, and cherished heirlooms. Collectors are not only engaging with the coin itself but also contributing to its story, ensuring that its significance and legacy endure. Whether through observation, research, sensory experience, market activity, or historical appreciation, the 1986 Lincoln penny offers a multifaceted engagement that few other coins can match. Its combination of commonality and rarity, artistry and industrial precision, history and chance, makes it a focal point for collectors and enthusiasts around the world. Engagement with this coin is ongoing, evolving, and deeply rewarding, illustrating the enduring allure of even the smallest objects when they carry meaning, history, and potential value. As we conclude this extensive journey into the 1986 Lincoln penny, it becomes abundantly clear that this coin is far more than a mere 1-cent piece. What might appear at first glance as a simple, everyday object is, in reality, a microcosm of history, artistry, economics, and human curiosity. The 1986 penny reflects the convergence of industrial innovation, cultural symbolism, and the fascinating unpredictability of chance. It stands as a testament to how even the smallest objects can carry immense significance and evoke wonder across generations. The legacy of the 1986 penny is multifaceted. On one hand, it circulated widely, facilitating everyday transactions and quietly participating in the daily lives of millions of Americans. On the other hand, a select few coins, rare copper planchets, high-grade uncirculated examples, and notable minting errors, transcend their humble face value, becoming priceless artifacts of history. These extraordinary pennies captivate collectors and historians alike, representing the intersection of scarcity, perfection, and human fascination with rarity. The process of collecting, studying, and preserving 1986 pennies is itself a reflection of the broader human desire to connect with the past. Every coin tells a story, from the moment it was struck at the U.S. Mint to its journey through countless hands and finally to the careful scrutiny of a collector. Error coins, unusual toning, and rare compositions provide endless opportunities for discovery, rewarding meticulous observation, research, and a bit of luck. The thrill of potentially uncovering a coin worth millions adds an element of adventure that few other hobbies can replicate. Educationally, the 1986 penny is invaluable. Its study teaches metallurgy, economics, and minting technology, while also offering lessons in history, art, and the legacy of Abraham Lincoln. From children examining coins to adults comparing subtle die varieties, the penny encourages curiosity, analysis, and engagement with tangible history. It is both a tool for learning and a symbol of continuity, bridging generations of collectors and enthusiasts. The market for 1986 pennies underscores their enduring allure. Rare specimens, particularly copper planchets or coins in perfect condition, continue to command astronomical prices, reflecting the global recognition of their rarity and desirability. Auctions, private sales, and specialized numismatic networks provide forums where collectors compete to acquire these exceptional coins. Beyond financial value, these transactions reinforce the cultural and historical significance of the coin, ensuring that the story of the 1986 penny remains alive and relevant. Aesthetically, the 1986 penny continues to impress. The sharpness of Lincoln's portrait, the intricate detail of the Lincoln Memorial, and the variety of toning patterns create a miniature work of art. Collectors prize coins with vibrant red coloration, brilliant luster, and flawless surfaces, appreciating both their visual appeal and the skill required to produce them. Even subtle imperfections, anomalies, or variations become points of fascination, demonstrating the beauty inherent in both perfection and rarity. Symbolically, the penny represents American values, continuity, and ingenuity. Lincoln's image evokes integrity and leadership, while the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse reinforces unity and national pride. The coin's design longevity underscores the nation's commitment to preserving its heritage, while the continued interest in rare variations reflects a collective appreciation for history, artistry, and discovery. The 1986 penny also reminds us that value is not solely monetary. While some examples may command staggering prices at auction, the true worth of the coin lies in its ability to educate, inspire curiosity, and connect people to history. It is a tangible artifact that bridges the past and present, linking industrial innovation with human storytelling, ordinary life with extraordinary possibility. Each coin carries not only metal and design but also memory, experience, and potential, a narrative encapsulated in a small, circular form. In the end, the 1986 Lincoln penny is a powerful illustration of how the ordinary can become extraordinary. Its production reflects careful planning, technological advancement, and economic considerations. Its circulation mirrors everyday American life. Its rare anomalies, errors, and exceptional specimens captivate collectors and historians alike, elevating the coin from a simple medium of exchange to a treasured artifact of cultural, historical, and financial significance. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist, a casual collector, or someone simply intrigued by history, the 1986 penny offers endless fascination. It challenges observers to look closely, think critically, and appreciate the layers of meaning embedded in even the smallest objects. Its story, spanning production, circulation, discovery, and preservation, is a testament to human ingenuity, curiosity, and the enduring power of tangible history. As we set down this exploration, remember that every coin has a story. The 1986 Lincoln penny, in all its ordinary circulation and extraordinary rarity, reminds us that history can be found in the smallest places, that beauty and value often coexist in unassuming forms, and that the pursuit of discovery is one of humanity's most enduring passions. It is more than a coin, it is a symbol, a treasure, and a story waiting to be told, cherished, and passed down through generations.